By now, everyone knows that the Trump administration and ICE are basically engaged in an ethnic cleansing campaign across the country. And ICE is like the primary tool they're using to carry that out. They're arresting people off the streets and they're targeting sanctuary cities. San Francisco is a sanctuary city. It's supposed to be a safe place for immigrants. And instead, many of them are being kidnapped by ICE agents. We assume they're ICE agents. These are like masked, armed people, seizing people who've done nothing wrong, just taking them off the streets.
The new administration is targeting communities in places that we once thought were safe and were seen as hands-off. Churches, schools, hospitals, and ICE, they're able to lie. They're able to go into the community and just pick somebody up because they want to, not because there's a warrant or they've had criminal convictions, prior removal orders, or other things that normally would make somebody a target of the community.
Trump just gave $75 billion to ICE to expand the deportation machine, to get more ICE agents, to expand detention centers, and we're not nearly prepared.
You know, it's outrageous and people have started protesting and standing up to it. So a lot of folks in the city have actually been protesting and trying to prevent these kidnappings from occurring.
This is San Francisco, a city built on immigrants, a city that calls itself a sanctuary. But today, that promise is being tested. On June 6th, the Trump administration escalated its war on immigrants, launching militarized ICE raids in Los Angeles. This started their spread across the nation. Trump ordered 3,000 arrests a day. By July, bond hearings were stripped away, due process erased. Then came a $100 billion boost to the ICE budget. Money ripped from schools, families, and seniors to expand detention centers, militarize raids, and grow the largest law enforcement agency in America. But resistance is rising. Across the country, people are blocking vans, flooding the streets, and defending their neighbors. And here in San Francisco, the fight is alive. Protesters hold the line outside ICE headquarters and in the courts, while City Hall stays completely silent. San Francisco's legacy as a sanctuary city is on the line, and the people won't let it be erased. This is Dean Preston. He's my friend, housing advocate, Democratic socialist, and former San Francisco legislator.
You're supposed to go in front of a judge. There's supposed to be due process for someone. What's happening now, these ICE agents are just going out and just grabbing people. Word is that they have quotas and they're arresting folks. And this is from like an administration that promised they were just going to go after the worst of the worst and, rapists and criminals and all that. That's not what they're doing at all. They are literally taking people who are just showing up at this kind of office for their check-in that they're required to do. I know people want to think these aren't kidnappings. They want to think this is just law enforcement. It's kidnappings. These folks aren't even showing their badges and their faces. We don't even know if these are actually ICE agents or not. But San Francisco is a sanctuary city. It doesn't mean that ICE can't do enforcement activities in San Francisco. What a sanctuary city is a city that has said our local resources are not going to be used to help ICE arrest, deport, detain people. So we've been a sanctuary city now for 35 years, but we're starting to see cracks in that. We're starting to see this city actually now collaborating in a lot of different ways with ICE.
Sanctuary city, it's a term you hear a lot, but what does it really mean? At its core, it's about limiting how much local government cooperates with federal immigration enforcement to protect immigrant communities from fear and mass deportation. San Francisco has officially been a sanctuary city since 1989, also the year I was born. The turning point came after a raid at Club Elegante in the Mission, when San Francisco PD worked with federal agents to detain dozens of people, citizens and non-citizens alike. The outrage from that raid led to the city and county of refuge ordinance, banning city employees from helping ICE enforce federal immigration laws, aka SFPD. Over the years, the policy has shifted. In 2008, Mayor Gavin Newsom changed the rules so the city could turn over undocumented juveniles accused and later convicted of felonies. Today, San Francisco PD can still collaborate with ICE on serious cases. But the fight over sanctuary hasn't stopped. In 2019, Homeland Security pressed San Francisco to violate its policy by extraditing a Tunisian national, and the city refused. More recently, in 2023, some local officials tried to weaken sanctuary with drug-related felonies, but that push met strong resistance. Through all these battles, one thing is clear. San Francisco's sanctuary policy was born out of community resistance and is still being tested to this day.
The San Francisco police are not supposed to be assisting ICE. They're not supposed to tell them someone is getting out of jail and you can pick them up, right? That kind of collaboration with ICE is prohibited in a sanctuary city.
What sanctuary city means is our city does not let the federal government co-opt our resources, our staff, to carry out their immigration enforcement duties.
This is Jackie Fielder. She's San Francisco's 100% independent supervisor for District 9. District 9 includes areas like the Mission District, Bernal Heights, and Portola.
We used to have SFPD leadership that I could trust to not work with ICE, but Lurie has tapped a lot of new leaders in SFPD that I don't know what their record is with engaging communities of color, standing by Sanctuary City. The comments the other week around we need to protect ICE as much as protesters, which first of all, ICE can protect themselves. They have pepper spray, they have a rifle that they use on protesters and also a mission local journalists. They have their vehicles that they also use on protesters, almost running someone over.
Our police should be clear that if there's a conflict between ICE and protesters, they should keep the protesters safe. They shouldn't be acting as bodyguards for ICE. But too often what we're seeing now is, even though in theory and by law we're a sanctuary city, we keep seeing these examples where the police think their job is to help ICE.
SFPD wasn't protecting protesters. In fact, SFPD has used a ton of overtime to respond to protests from here in the Mission to downtown and anti-Trump protests, and all of this, of course, costs thousands of dollars.
I think part of the problem is that you need strong leadership. The mayor, the board of supervisors, you need leaders to be crystal clear. And in San Francisco, for many years, our leaders they were on the same page. They said, we're a sanctuary city, right? We are not going to cooperate and facilitate the deportation of people. We're not in that business. And that has shifted. So you have conservative law and order supervisors like Matt Dorsey made a proposal to weaken our sanctuary laws. You see complete silence from the mayor, from most of the board of supervisors around what ICE is doing. And that sends a message to the police that
it's okay,
that the sanctuary stuff's not that important anymore. You know, we're a more conservative city. And so they give lip service to it sometimes, but they don't condemn what ICE is doing, and they don't make it really clear to the police that they shouldn't be cooperating with ICE.
Big news for Union Square and for San Francisco. Pop Mart is coming to the city. I can see firsthand what my kids have been talking about with these Labubus. It's all the craze around the world, and now it's coming to San Francisco. Let's go, San Francisco.
Protesters block the courthouse doors as ICE agents attempt to remove a man they've detained inside. A man, we're told, who had just appeared for a routine immigration hearing.
This mayor could send a message tomorrow that says to ICE agents, if you use violence against peaceful protesters in San Francisco, that violates city and state law. We won't tolerate it. We're going to protect peaceful protesters against that. We'll arrest you if we have to. There are 100 ways that the mayor and senior leadership of this city could send a strong message of support for the people who are targeted by ICE and by the Trump administration and the people standing in solidarity with them. And this city so far is really failing on that. And we're a sanctuary city. We've been a sanctuary city for 35 years. So it's time to start a new day tomorrow, right? Like, just do it and stop sticking your head in the sand and thinking this is just going to get better if you ignore it.
There's a lot of cowardice and just ducking, because there's this thought that, well, we don't want to poke the bear, we don't want to rock the boat, maybe if we fly under the radar. But that's exactly what fascism demands, is obedience in advance. And he wants us to be afraid, and our job is not to be. So it's incumbent upon every elected official, constituents pressuring them, social media, emails, tagging them, whatever, to push them to speak up and speak out. Because then it makes it that much easier for everyone else to do so. But by just rolling over, we're doing Trump's job for him. For me, it's about speaking up and denouncing fascism, denouncing the racism coming from Trump, denouncing the silence that a lot of this is being met with, even here in San Francisco, making sure that our communities know that we're with them, and denouncing everything that's happening.
Trump announced that he wants to deploy the National Guard to San Francisco. Francisco. I think we should take that threat very seriously. We're not here because of any elected official and what they said. I and others have been warned about what we say, about, maybe it's better if we don't poke the bear, we don't rock the boat, we don't draw attention to ourselves. We're here because a billionaire who doesn't even live here wants to perpetuate this narrative that San Francisco is some hellhole of a place, perpetuated by people that actually don't share San Francisco values and actively want to undermine them, like undermine our sanctuary city policy. It's not everyone that's going to pay the price. It is immigrants, it is people without means, it is people who don't know their rights that are going to suffer the most if Trump decides to send the National Guard.
I'm going to be strongly recommending, at the request of government officials, which is always nice, that you start looking at San Francisco. I think we can make San Francisco, it was one of our great cities 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and now it's a mess.
It's an unfortunate rhetoric that's seen throughout right-wing media about immigrants, labeling them as criminals, but that's just not true. Immigrants do much more benefit to this country. If you look at even undocumented immigrants, what they give into Social Security, for generations they've kept the Social Security system alive by paying into taxes and not receiving anything back. It's unfortunate that we're seeing families be broken up. We're seeing people detained that have been in this country for generations, for decades even, and have worked and contributed to the community. It's important to know there's networks like the Rapid Response Network here in the Bay Area, a network of different organizations, attorneys, informing people of where ICE is located, informing people of their rights. If somebody is detained or of somebody that's been taken into custody by ICE, working with the Rapid Response Network, first to inform them, then to get information on who to speak to, who to contact, getting informed to help that individual before it's too late. So it's good to know about nonprofit organizations or immigrant-based organizations that help inform the immigrant community, for both those that are going through proceedings at the moment, are seeking relief, or those that are thinking about it to protect themselves for the near future.
As ICE agents expand their presence in San Francisco, the city finds itself at a crossroads. Some leaders are speaking out, working to defend immigrant communities and push back against federal pressure. Yet others remain silent, leaving families and neighborhoods uncertain about where their city truly stands. What does this silence mean for those who call San Francisco home? How will these choices, or lack of choices, shape the future of this city? And most importantly, what role do the citizens of San Francisco play in deciding what happens next?